What's going on, everybody? Today I am going to be sharing a fun video and hopefully educational for all you silver stackers out there, whether you're brand new thinking about stacking or have been doing it for a long time. Stay tuned and check it out. How's it going, everybody? First and foremost, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for stopping by my channel today to check out the video. I'm very excited to bring this new series, this content to my channel. It's based on silver stacking. It's going to be tips, tricks, opinions, all different types of things that have to do with silver stacking. Whether you are a beginner, whether you are a seasoned veteran, I think that this will be fun. This will be educational for you. This type of video, I realize that's going to bring a lot of new views to my channel, which these types of videos tend to do with the tips and the tricks and everything like that. So I will introduce myself if you are not familiar with me. I am Silver Supplement, aka Baycitybullion. I've been stacking for about a decade. Started my own silver business back in 2019. I pour silver, make 3D art pieces of that nature. Have a lot of fun with it. Very passionate about the metals. I've been on and off with YouTube for quite some time. My videos in the past primarily have been just pickup videos, things of that nature, looking at changing up my content. So if that's something that interests you, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and I will continue to bring these to you. Like I said, this will have its own playlist. This is going to be number one, and we are going to start off basic, and then we'll get into a little bit more advanced stacking. I can definitely teach you guys a little bit about vintage, about what to look for, all that different types of things like that. Over the years, I'm definitely not a rich individual. Over the years, I've been able to accumulate an ounce or two for my stack, to say the least, by learning different tips and tricks. And yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm excited to share them with you. So if you're into that, cool, you're in the right place. So the very first thing that I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, all you new guys getting into silver stacking, it's very fun. It's very exciting. You're here. You feel like you just got into this exclusive club, or you may feel anxious. You may feel scared. You may feel like the sky's going to fall. You may feel like your paper money's worthless. The banks are going to crash. All these, whatever the reason, whether you're here for prepping, bartering, there's so many different reasons, and that's my first point. Stacking silver is so personal, right? And there's a lot of strong opinions out there. When you get into the silver stacking community, the precious metals community, there's going to be all different types of things that you are going to learn, all the different opinions that people have. The number one thing that you can do is be patient. Don't overspend. That's my number one first tip for anybody getting into precious metals. Do not overspend. Now, with this series, I'm not going to get into your personal finances. I'm not going to tell you whether you should be buying or shouldn't be, depending on what your debt or anything like that is. I'm going to stick to precious metals, silver stacking. That's what I'm gonna focus on, guys. Okay, I'm not gonna get into your personal portfolios or anything like that. But don't overspend. Find out what you're comfortable with when it comes to precious metals, what you can put into it. And I definitely think no matter what your income level is, it's a good idea to put some money back into precious metals and to realize that it is a long-term hold. It's a long-term hold, guys. Now, I'll tell you also right off the bat, there's always something going on with the banks. There's always something going on with politics. There's always a war breaking off somewhere. You know, there's always something that's going to excite you, or that's going to get you anxious, or that's going to make you feel like you're behind the 8 ball and you need to back up the truck and just spend to get as much money, or excuse me, as much metal as you possibly can. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't overspend. Realize that that's just the game that is played with precious metals. Realize that there's a lot of people out there that will be silver pumpers, that will try to scare you. That is their business. That's what they do. Yeah, don't overspend. First thing I can tell you, okay? That's the first thing. Second thing I'll tell you is to be disciplined. In this day and age, you know, my opinions have definitely changed over the years. And why have they changed? Well, experience and the environment that we live in. And over the years, we have a lot more social media, a lot more peer-to-peer, countless online dealers out there that sell all different types of fun and exciting and collectible silver and gold and coins. So discipline is going to be huge for you guys. It kind of goes hand in hand with patience and not overspending, but don't buy just to buy. Nowadays, it's so easy to kick back on your phone at night and scroll through and, look through all the online dealers at all the new shiny coins and bars and stuff that come out and want to buy it, or watch a video like mine or somebody else that picked up something. Oh, that's so sweet. I want to go out and buy it. And then you end up buying a lot of items that are higher premium that may not necessarily make sense. Now, I'm not telling you to not go out and buy things that you like, not to have fun with your stack, not to have some collections. Heck, I'm a huge collector. I have all sorts of high premium collectibles that I put in my stack. So I'm definitely not telling you not to do it at all. I'm just saying, try to stay disciplined with your budget. Try not to buy just to buy. That's the next step. Don't buy just to buy. That brings me to how I stack. How I stack is dictated by the deals that I find, okay? Now, what do I mean by that? I don't stack by filling up monster boxes. I don't stack by filling up guardhouse boxes. I don't stack by buying only silver buffaloes. What I find, deals dictate how I stack. So if I go into the coin shop and I go over to the generic bin, and this comes with time, and this comes with knowledge over the years, guys. You're not going to be able to start off exactly like this. But I go into the generic bin, I find a piece like this that sells on eBay for double spot, and I add that to my stack. I don't even think I have a single buffalo in my stack, guys, because all my stuff's either old art rounds or art bars that I paid close to spot for. Now, what I mean by finding deals, primarily what I mean by finding deals is I like to buy something that's worth more than I purchased for it right off the bat. Now you'd be like, okay, well, slow down, sup. I'm just getting into this. I'm just, dipping my toe into the water. I don't even know about that type of stuff. I just need to know if I should be buying eagles or bars or 90%. I'm going to touch on all that in this video, okay? But still, if that's the case, if you need to have the discipline, or in order to stay disciplined, you need to fill tubes or need to fill rolls, then just wait until they go on sale. Okay, you're always going to have that whole money burning a hole in your pocket, or the fear telling you to go out and buy today because it's going to go up tomorrow. Wait and find the deals, guys. No matter how rich you are, no matter how much money you have, when the deals come about, there'll always be more metal than what the cash is in your pocket. What I mean by that is, back in the day, I only used to buy silver eagles when they were $2 or less premium. And I would wait, and it would happen 2 or 3 or 4 times a year, and then I'd buy some tubes when that happened. And that's, instead of buying a couple every week and forgetting about it, that's just how I did it, okay? That's just how I did it. Now, in this day and age, we can go ahead and start talking about what types of silver should I buy. Should I buy government-backed coinage? Should I buy silver rounds? Should I buy 90%? Okay, this is where I'm going to be a little controversial with some people. So I said, if you don't agree, don't chew my head off a little bit. Let me explain. This day and age in 2023, I do not recommend buying silver eagles. Matter of fact, I don't think it's necessary to buy government-backed coinage primarily for your stack. I just don't. A lot of people strongly disagree with me. A lot of people say it's the most liquid, it's the hardest to counterfeit, it's what all your local coin shops are going to want. That's what I mean by most liquid. In my experience, guys, all the coin shops I've been to selling over the years, that is not always the case. Now let me explain myself a little bit further. What you're going to learn the longer you stack, whether you've been stacking already for a year or 2, if you've only been doing it for 3, 4, whatever you've been doing it, what you're going to find is what's hot today is not going to be hot tomorrow. The premiums on things will go up and down, just like the spot prices. It's a supply and demand. And to go into it a little bit further, I've seen 90% go from the coin shops are overloaded with it. They won't buy it because they already have so much stock, and the premiums are completely in the tank, to where you can't find 90% at your coin shops, and the premiums are through the roof. Just realize that goes up and down, and it supply and demand, whatever's popular at that time. So keep that in mind. And remember, I said silver stacking is a long-term thing. Now, in the beginning, I probably would have told you to go out and check your local coin shop, find out what they like, and then purchase that. But that is not the right way of thinking in my mind and in my experience, because the coin shops that were around when I started stacking are no longer around. The selling and what people buy and what people sell today, and the changes in internet and changes in peer-to-peer and social media have changed the game dramatically. And unless you're close to retirement age, silver stacking is a long-term thing. So in 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, who knows? The place where you think that you might sell your stack may not even be even close to where you're going to sell your stack. So keep that in mind. So my next tip for you new guys out there, as you're starting, or even if you guys have been doing it for a while, start doing this. Keep receipts on every single thing that you buy. I don't hear enough people talk about that. You don't know, you may think that you're just going to dump a piece or two at a coin shop down the road and you'll never end up having to take capital gains on anything. Who knows what the tax laws are going to be in 5, 10, 15 years. It's always better to have that information whether you use it or not. So if you are buying online and that's where you buy, well, guess what? They keep track of everything anyways. So in your order history, you can print that out and keep record that way. If you buy peer-to-peer and they don't give you a receipt because it's just a thing that you did on Instagram, go to somewhere, buy a little receipt book or just notepad or sticky notes, whatever. Just write it down, put the date on it, put what it was and how much. It only takes an extra minute or two to do that, guys. I know it's very hard to keep track of that stuff, but you will thank me later down the road if you start selling, if you start flipping, if you start having to take capital gains. Having that information is going to save you a huge amount of headache. So keep records, whether you use them or not. That is a very strong tip that I can tell you guys, okay? So getting back to what's hot and what's not at your coin shops. So what I recommend to brand new stackers, and I know we're quite a bit into the video before I get to this, is to buy generic silver as close to spot in the smallest increment that you can. And what I mean by that is if your local coin shop sells 10 ounce, 5 ounce, or 1 ounce, and it's the same premium for all, like they charge the same, say it's $2 over spot for this, $2 over spot for that, $2 over spot for that, buy the smallest piece. And it doesn't save you space or take more space to have it in whatever way you have it. And what I mean by that is stay away from the huge bars. If you want 1 or 2 in your stack or you have fun with it, that's perfectly fine. I'm not telling you not to buy something. Again, we're talking about primarily. The reason I'm telling you to go with the smaller pieces is because the smaller piece you have, the more buyers you're going to have. The higher the price of something, the less buyers you're going to have. It's just common sense. When silver was way down and premiums were way down, 10-ounce bars were very popular. Now you're seeing 5-ounce bars are very, very popular, and the premiums are way up and people are still paying the premiums on them. Now, what I'll tell you from experience of being a silver seller and a bullion maker, that $200 price point, $200 and below, you are going to have way more buyers than anything over 200 bucks. Just in my experience selling over the years, buying over the years, that's just a price point where a lot of people are comfortable spending, at least this time in this day and age. Okay, so if you can get 1 ounce rounds or 1 ounce bars, I prefer 1 ounce bars over 1 ounce rounds. And over the years that I've been buying silver, 1 ounce bars tend to hold more of a premium than the rounds. That's my experience, guys. I'm just telling you what I experienced. So that's what I would do. I'd buy 1 ounce bars, 1 ounce rounds, then I'd go to 5s, then I'd go to 10s, okay? If the premiums are the same. Don't overspend. Like, if you can save up to get a 10-ounce bar, but and the premiums are a lot higher on the 5s, then stay away from that. Or wait until you find a deal where these go on sale. That's waiting for the deals, stacking by the deals, okay? That's what I will tell you. So my favorite for a beginning stacker, not advanced talk here, not flipping talk, is generic silver. I don't have a buffalo because I don't have a buffalo in my stack. So this is what I'm going to show you for my generic silver, okay? Stick with generic silver, especially when you're new. That's what I'm going to tell you. The coins, I don't stack the coins this day and age in 2023. The premiums are too high. Again, I don't feel like you have to have coinage. I don't feel it's the most liquid. In my experience, it's not. So that's my experience, guys. But if you feel like you absolutely have to have coinage, I recommend the Silver Eagle or the Canadian Silver Maple Leaf. I don't recommend any other coins. Stay away from Britannias, stay away from the Kangaroos, stay away from any other coins, because either the premiums are crazy high or they milk spot. So if you are going to overpay, because if you buy these, you're overpaying. That's my opinion. If you feel like you have to have coins, if you're going to overpay and spend the high premiums on coins, do not buy coins that milk spot. Now, all those ones that I just mentioned, they all milk spot. They're very prone to milk, where you pull out the coin, it's got white blotches all over it. And when you go to sell that, you're going to get spot or less if people even want them. So why waste your premiums buying coins that are going to look milky? Unless you live in a country. Now, we're talking about US here. I understand that the VAT tax and things are different in different countries. Now, if that's the case, I understand. But I'm talking beginning stacking here, primarily in the United States. So stay away from the coins that spot. Same thing with a lot of the collectibles out there. You'll spend a lot of premiums on collectible coins and you'll get them home. They'll be all milky, and then you lost, visually they don't look nice, and you're never going to recoup your premiums on them. So if you stick to generic bullion, go out and buy your buffaloes, whatever the rounds are. It is important to keep your silver looking nice and keep it shiny and looking clean. It'll be easier to sell. However, one of the most common mistakes of early new stackers is they will want to put everything in airtights, and they think that they need to put everything in airtights. Over the years, you are going to waste tremendous amounts of money that is not necessary, and it takes way more space to save it. Stay away from the airtights, stay away from the guardhouse tubes. If you want to have an example or two sitting out so you can touch it because you're excited, you're new, go ahead, do that, but don't buy rolls and rolls of airtights. It is a big waste of money. It is perfectly fine leaving your coins in these tubes. They will stay in BU condition. They are going to be perfectly fine. You're not going to get less for them this way. They will stack better. You're just going to save a lot of money, okay? I know it's fun and exciting when you first get into silver. You're going to look at every single ounce that you get as precious and that you want to keep it in perfect condition. That is just something you're going to feel when you're new to stacking, guys. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. I did it. I see countless people doing it. Over the years, you're going to get away from doing it. I get away from anything that really I have to keep in perfect shape. It's another reason why I'm into vintage or stuff like poured bars or cast bars and things like that. It doesn't really matter as much, but it still matters. It's better to have this old Engelhard in this perfect condition in this plastic than if it was all beat up. You're going to get more out of it. It's just more desirable. It's as simple as that. Same thing with this 83 Prospector round. This goes for like 50 bucks, but if it was all chewed up, you're going to get less for it. So things like that I understand, but just regular bullion, don't worry about airtights, guys. You'll thank me in the long run, okay? The next thing I'm going to touch on, and it's not very popular in opinion, we're going to talk about 90%. Now, I'm using the Morgan because me, personally, I don't stack 90%. You're going to be like, oh, that's blasphemous. I love 90%. I love junk silver, constitutional silver, whatever you call it. I'm crazy for not stacking it. Well, just hear me out, okay? Okay, so why don't I stack 90%? Well, I told you earlier in the video that I am a silver pourer. So I only stack pure silver because if spot price tanks and I need to recapture my premium, I want to melt it down and turn it into something that I can generate some premium. And it's kind of like a safety net for myself. That's primarily why I stay away from 90%. Now, I will talk about pros because this is not just about what I do. This is beginning tips. What are the pros of 90%? It is very popular most of the time. It is very liquid most of the time. And it is very recognizable, okay? Now, it is also geared a little bit more towards people that, maybe like coins or more of the prepper-minded, more of the people that are barter-minded. A good way to get fractional silver at a cheaper price, okay? So those are the pros that most people will tell you why they purchase 90%. Why don't I personally care for it other than other than the reasons I just laid out before you regarding pouring silver. Okay, well, I'll give you some cons to it. Yes, there's cons and pros and cons to all of this, and I can break all that down, but would be too long of a video for that. But 90% is very common. It's one of the things people will tell you to stack, but I'm going to give you a little bit food for thought. And I'm not telling you not to stack it, but I would recommend don't make it your primary stack. Don't make it the most thing that you stack, and I'm going to explain why. It's very important to have diversification for all different markets and what people want. So it's good to have some, okay? I'm not telling you, don't do it. So guys don't get too triggered. But the reason I don't do it, let me run you through a scenario. I was talking to some older gentlemen, and they told me about this back in 1980. When there was a huge spike, a sustained spike in silver spot price, okay? What happens to the silver that you sell? What happens to the silver that you take to the coin shop, okay? Well, they're going to sell it to other customers, but if they get too much stock, then they have to send it off to the refiners, okay? So back in 1980, when the silver spot price spiked crazy and everybody was bringing in all their flatware and bringing in all their bars and everything was melting, yes, they brought in coinage. They've melted tons and millions and millions and millions of coinage, and they still will if silver spikes. Trust me, they will. So back then, if your coin shops are overflowing with silver, the supply and demand obviously is what triggers price up and down. So if your coin shop has a lot of silver and they don't have enough customers for it, they're going to send it to the refiners. The refiners are going to be overloaded with silver. So if they have tons of pure silver coming in that they need to break down into bigger bars to send off for industrial use so they can purchase more silver from the coin shops, because nobody has unlimited amounts of money, they're going to have to turn and burn this product. That's how they make money, okay? They are going to give you a lot less for anything that's not pure, whether it's coinage, whether it's flatware, whatever it is that's going to end up going in, they're going to give you a lot less for it. So if you go to a coin shop, they're going to be able to take all that pure stuff, send it off to the refiner. They might get overloaded with 90% and not want to buy anymore. Or they may find refiners that will take it from them, but they're going to give them well below spot from it. Because why would you want to spend all the extra money as a refiner, mind you, spend all the extra money buying all the acids and going through all the steps to break down all of the, the sterling and 90%, whatever it is, to get it back to pure when you're already overloaded with pure. So just keep that in mind. In that scenario, guys, you will get less for your 90%. So just keep that in mind. If you think that silver is going to spike and you want to dump it, and you think the spike's going to be sustained, which it very well may be, in that scenario you will get less for that silver. And that's what happened in the past. So that's another reason why I personally don't stack a lot of it. It may be a good idea to have if you are prepper minded, or if you are barter minded, to maybe get some dimes, maybe get some quarters, something like that. But just don't overdo it with the 90%. That's my opinion. That is my tip for you new guys out there. The last thing I'm going to touch on in this video, because it's very, very important, even though this video is getting long, and I'm just barely scratching the surface here, guys. So I apologize for the long video, but I need to get through these basic steps, is security. Security is paramount for any stacker, no matter what no matter how long you've been doing it. Somebody like me that has a business, somebody like me that makes videos, I even take it even more. And it's even more important for myself, to where you can't keep your metals in one place. You have to disperse them. You have to spread them out. You have to keep them under lock and key. If you are new out there, if you're doing trading with people, use P.O. boxes. Don't talk to people about it unless you absolutely have to. I know it's fun and it's exciting when you first get into it. You may tell a family member who may tell somebody else. Most of the time when you get robbed or targeted or taken advantage of, it's somebody that you know. So just please keep that in mind. Don't keep all of your stuff in one spot. Don't be sliding the stuff under your bed. Don't be throwing it in your closet. You know what I mean? If you have to keep any on site, which some of us definitely keep metal on site, keep it in a very, well secured hidden area, or you know, a very nice safe, or make sure that you have some sort of insurance, make sure you have cameras, you know, do whatever you can for security nowadays. That is very important. It's a very scary world out there. So please, I don't want to, you know, scare you guys or anything like that, but just, you know, use common sense. You don't want to keep an enormous amount of money in one spot. It's just not smart. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video on security today. So just an overview: patience, don't overspend; discipline, don't buy just to buy. Make sure that you keep that stack diversified for all different types of scenarios and different places to sell. Just keep in mind that, you know, that coin shop may not be there in 10, 20 years when you go to sell. That's a big one to keep in mind. Don't be afraid to do peer-to-peer. Keep track of your purchases and make sure that your stuff is secure. Those are the things that I touched on today. I will touch on many, many more topics going forward in these videos. I appreciate you guys again for, if you stuck through this whole video, I appreciate it so much. If you guys have any questions for me, any disagree, or if you agree, whatever, I'd like to hear your opinions down below. I'm more than happy to give you guys some tips down below if you have questions, and I'll check you on the next one.